Welcome to Cultura Latina. Today we journey to Quito and La Paz, where both cultural centers, or Casas de la Cultura, are celebrating another year preserving and promoting local art. We'll see how these cultural centers bring access free of cost to the public when they visit. Follow the music, admire the art, place yourself inside historic architecture. Every week, here on teleSUR English. Welcome to Cultura Latina. The Ecuadorian Casa de la Cultura is celebrating 70 years of service with a series of musical, dance, theatrical, and literary events. Take a look.
This week marks 70 years of cultural events and history in the Ecuadorian House of Culture. To celebrate its importance as a cultural force, a wide range of musical, theatrical, and literary events will take place. They are free and open to the public and cater to all ages. Raúl Pérez Torres, award-winning author and president of the Casa de la Cultura, speaks to us about the importance of this space.
We talk about our Quito, we talk about the South, we talk about urban tribes, what is happening in this new way of thinking of young people, the new rock that they are making in Otavalo, that they are doing interesting things, the jazz, the classical music, and all of this coming from the people. Like the great Uruguayan leader Pepe Mujica said, culture is in the streets. We have to love this culture of the streets, live it, support it, and this is what we are doing. If you walk around the Casa de la Cultura, whatever day, like a day like today, you will see downstairs there's the book fair. The books are $1, extraordinary books. We are doing continuous expositions. You see people drawing. Children are drawing at this moment in the Ruben Guarderas room, where we have a drawing space for children. And all these things, this climate, is infectious. Culture is infectious. Books are infectious. The love for painting, for literature, for music is infectious. The important thing is to give people this feeling and this thought. Art is worthwhile, I say. It makes our spirits more sensitive. It makes us better and more brotherly and have more solidarity. This is what our America needs.
With the main house located in Quito and other centers of the capitals of each province, the Casa de la Cultura has served as an artistic force in Ecuadorian society. There are 23 centers in the provinces and 125 extensions outside of major cities that host various workshops and events. The house was created thanks to Benjamin Carrion, a nationally renowned intellectual and author. After the Ecuadorian-Peruvian territorial dispute of 1941, during which time Ecuador lost a considerable amount of lands, Carrion said, "If we cannot be a military and economic power, we can be, instead, a cultural power, fed by our richest traditions." In celebrations of the 70 years of the Casa de la Cultura, one of the largest events will be on August 9th, in which a theatrical adaptation of Boletín y Elegía de las Mitas, written by Ecuadorian poet Cesar Davila Andrade, about the plight of indigenous peoples, will be shown to the public.
This poem gives us a sense of identity because, of course, it is a very regional poem and refers to the Andes. But this does not limit other territories. It is obligatory in our current reading, and in these new times it has an impact not only in Ecuador, but in Latin America. For us it is vital, and for this reason I think it has been accepted that this poem will be made into a popular play. It is a demonstration of our culture to society, to all people living in this city. It is important that this house has played an important role in taking the culture of visiting museums and the knowledge of museums to all people.
In 1944, President José María Velasco Ibarra created the Casa de la Cultura as a means of directing culture with a national spirit. For the past 70 years, the house has supported some of the most influential artists of Ecuador and held some of the country's largest cultural events. Inside the Casa, there is an independent radio, various museums, a cinema, and workshops for both adults and children. It has worked to promote and strengthen the arts and culture of Ecuador.
Founded 40 years ago in honor of poet Franz Tamayo, La Paz's Casa de la Cultura promotes Bolivia's unique cultural identity and diverse artistic forms.
The municipal Franz Tamayo House of Culture in La Paz celebrates its 40th anniversary this year. It is the headquarters of the local government's cultural office, as well as a public gallery and theater space that is helping to showcase Bolivian art and promote La Paz's unique culture and identity. Walter Gomez, himself a celebrated musician, is the head of the local La Paz government's large cultural affairs office.
Many times what nourishes our creativity is a La Paz identity, a Bolivian identity, an Andean identity. However, more contemporary the style becomes, it is never absent of this identity, because La Paz is a city with very strong roots. The indigenous presence, our country bears witness to this identity. Our people are alive and our culture is alive, and it nourishes us and inspires us, and we constantly have this conversation with ourselves. It is how we recover some of the greatest testimonies of our country.
Through coordinating offices and galleries like the House of Culture, the La Paz government seeks to showcase and preserve the classics while also creating spaces that develop the talents of younger generations of artists.
We are looking to affirm and preserve and value the notable artists that we have. But at the same time, we cannot close the doors to emerging artists and the thing they're doing. The newer generations that have the right and more than enough talent to show what they have.
Que tienen derecho y tienen talento en sobra para poder expresar lo que tienen.
Through the House of Culture, the local government seeks to help younger artists develop their work with a number of programs, competitions, and public spaces where they can showcase their creations.
We have a policy of providing assistance to the newer styles, to the youth. La Paz is a young city, and in large part, the youth are those who are fostering our agenda, and so part of the commitment that we have as an institution is to provide the conditions to develop and value all of the creativity being produced in this moment.
The House of Culture's exhibitions are constantly evolving. This exhibition was part of a competition showcasing the work of aspiring art students at the local public university of the city of El Alto. Lourdes Ramos recently won a prize for a piece of pottery she created as part of her studies, now on display in the House of Culture.
There are young people who aren't very well recognized for their talents, but initiatives like this contest are helping us above all to continue working. For me, this has been a huge step because it encourages us to create more, to not give up. It has given me greater drive, and since my specialty is ceramics, it has really motivated me as an artist.
Con esto yo tengo más ganas. Como mi especialidad es cerámica, a mí me motiva.
Fellow Public University of El Alto art student Milbet Mendoza also won awards in the exhibition for her ceramic work. She says that the House of Culture's work is not only important for young artists like herself, but also for Bolivian art as a whole.
To show each one of our works like this is very important in our country, because sometimes our work is not valued. Sometimes people think that works that come from other countries are inherently better than Bolivian-produced art. But I think it is the opposite, and we want to show this to the world.
The local La Paz government has placed a priority on promoting cultural events with regular festivals, street performances, fairs, and numerous cultural activities constantly being held in public areas across the city.
We have left behind the concept of culture as some sort of poor relation, an obligatory cost, and accepted it as an indispensable investment in human development, as a citizen's right that's necessary in the construction of an identity. Because if we don't have any cultural identity, we cannot construct our own future, a dignified and secure future.
Bolivia's House of Culture is playing an important role in shaping this identity and future.
Thanks for watching. Next week we'll swing through some rhythms that are filled with echoes from the past and represent the dynamic soul of Latin America. See you then.